In this video, we're going to take a look at this piece out of our Arduino Starter Kit. Let's get to it. Alright, so in the Arduino Starter Kit, we actually have this plastic piece, and it's actually a holder for both our breadboard and our Arduino Uno. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to mount both the breadboard and the Arduino onto this plastic piece. Now, if any of you are aerospace engineers or one day hope to become aerospace engineers, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This channel is dedicated to helping you take your aerospace engineering skills to the next level. Alright, so this plastic piece right here is actually supposed to hold the breadboard on it, kind of like that, and the Arduino Uno on it, kind of like that. Let me see. You can see that there are some holes right here, right? Those are going to be the screw holes that we're screwing the board down onto it. You see how it lines up right here on the board with these two holes. You should notice as well that there's a little raised lip, like an outline of the board, so that, as you can see here on the Arduino, how there's this little tab up and then back down. You can see that same outline shape here on this board. Right about there, you can kind of see it. So that just helps you make sure that you line it up and you've got it at the right orientation. There's also some lettering right here to make sure you're putting it on the right side of the board. So we're going to go ahead and do that in this video. So the first thing we're actually supposed to do is we're supposed to pop out all of these pieces, because these pieces are going to be used in a different tutorial. However, you'll see these four right down here. Those four we're actually going to use now. Those are going to be the legs of our little Arduino holder, is what I'm going to call it. When we pop these four out, that's what these holes in the top are for. So let's just go ahead and pop it out. It's actually plastic. The book says wood, so I'm wondering if this plastic is a nice upgrade that they did. So you can see it right there. Just kind of push it out. Now you want to make sure you save these because they're going to be used in another kit. These seem to work better if you twist them. If you twist them, you don't get that little piece of plastic on it right here at the top that I might have to try and take off now. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them in this box with all the electrical components. So let's go ahead and pop the rest of it out. There's one of the feet. Now I'm not going to save any of this that goes in between the pieces. It's probably just support material. There's the last of the legs. This looks like it's going to attach to the motor. You can see that gear right there. So eventually this might go on to the motor. We'll see what it's used for. And I was just kind of trying to clean up some of the, it has these little pieces that go between the different pieces. So I was just trying to take it off and kind of clean it up a little bit. I might actually go get some pliers and see if I can't clean it up better. So there's the last of the pieces, right? So this is what it should look like. Right, so I went ahead and I grabbed some pliers. Just gonna go and kind of peel off some of these pieces that didn't break off, just to clean it up a little bit. If you do this, you probably just got to make sure that you don't end up breaking any piece into the board. I'm just kind of going on the outsides of it like this. Just kind of squeezing it and just rocking it back and forth a little bit, see if I can't get it off. Just to kind of clean up some of these edges. Alright, so that's good enough. I kind of took the rest of the edges off. There's still some on here, but they're not as big and they're not as sharp. Probably don't have to worry about it. I mean, there's a good lip around it. It's probably more useful for some of these parts that we might be using in the future, just whatever to actually detach from the part. So for instance, if you look, there's still this little plastic that's still on there. So I'm just kind of pinching it, rocking it back and forth until I'm able to just get that piece off. Alright, let's just kind of clean up a little bit all those little plastic pieces. Alright. So the next step is that we're going to take each of these little legs right? Make sure it's the legs with the 3 bumps on it, right? 1, 2, 3, and not one of these ones. These are something else. I don't know what it is yet, but we're looking for this one right here. And what we're going to do, remember, we want to keep the letters, the raised letters on the top. So the legs are going to be going through underneath these 3 holes to be able to hold it up. Now I'm going to try and keep the legs so that this, now I'm going to try and make it so that my legs have the flat part towards the outside and this little like indented portion towards the inside so you can't see it. So for the first one, I'll just line the 3 holes up and just push it in. As you can see, all right, so this is what it looks like. Got the little leg right there. You don't see these holes anymore, right? You don't see these 3 holes down here anymore. You can't really see it that well on the camera, but it actually is, the legs are sticking up into those holes, so it looks like it's all flush now. So we're just going to go around the outside and do the other ones. So there's the second one. Just went in, pushed it in the little 3 holes. So as you can see, I just kind of line up the holes. Push it in. And the last one. And I'm just pushing on them to make sure they're nice and snug. So there you go. We got the 4 little feet now onto this little base. Right? So it's going to make a pretty good table. Alright, so the next step is that we're going to take the Arduino and we're going to bolt it down onto this side of this little holder. Again, you can see that there is an outline here, just like a raised lip, a raised edge, outlining the shape of the Arduino. So just make sure you line up with that little tab on the side. You should only find one way that you can line up this outer line with the shape of the Arduino. Now, if you remember this box with the electronic components that was really a tray, if you open it up, you can find 3 screws and 3 nuts. Now, I'm assuming that's what these are for. The book says just use screws to screw it on. It doesn't say if they're in the kit or not. So I'm assuming that these 3, so I'm assuming that these 3 screws and the 3 nuts are what the instructions are telling us to bolt it down, to bolt down our Arduino to these 3 holes, 1, 2, 3. So let's pull Arduino out of the box. All right, so I'm just going to take the first one. All right, so I'm going to take the first screw. I'm going to drop it through one of these holes on the Arduino, right? You can see 1, 2, and then the third hole is over here. So those are the 3 holes we're going to use to bolt this down. I'm just going to take one of the screws. I'm going to just put it in the hole right there until it pops through. And I'm going to put that screw down through the corresponding hole on this base. You can see it right there. And then just take one of these screws and screw the nut down onto it. Now I'm just going to do a hand tight because it feels like it might be resting on some of the solder joints, and I really don't want to be breaking any of the solder joints, so I'm not going to do it too tight. Just enough to kind of hold it there in place. So let's do the second one. Line up the holes, put the screw through the holes, flip it over, and as I flip it over, just a nice trick is that I put my finger on it and I'm pushing up on the screw so that the screw doesn't fall down through the hole. And just kind of get it fairly and the last one. Now another trick is that you don't want to tighten any of them down until you have them all. Now another thing is that you don't really want to have any of them tight, really tight, until you're able to get all of them in the hole, just to make sure you're able to wiggle the board around in case you need to line up any of the other bolt holes. All right, so I got all 3 screws on. I'm just going to go and hand tighten the nuts. I don't want to do it too tight because, as I mentioned before, as you can kind of see, looks like it's sitting on some of the solder joints, and I really don't want to mess any of those up. So I'm just going to let it kind of float above the board a little bit and just make these screws hand tight so that it doesn't wiggle around or move. All right, so as you can see, our Arduino Uno is now screwed into the board. It's not going anywhere. So when I set it on the table, it's got a nice little holder that's going to hold it in place. Now this actually is also supposed to hold this breadboard. You can see kind of a rectangular outline for it as well, just a raised lip. So if you're running your nail across it, you feel it. And so this is actually, now what happens is there's a cover on the back of it right now. I'm going to peel the cover off and then just it sticks right on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. there it is. So as you can see, you can't really see it very well in the video. But there's just this little back right here onto the back. And then just kind of line it up. And then I just give it a good push so that the adhesive on the back of that sticks to this tray. Oh, so that's pretty funny because there's this hole. You're actually able to touch the sticky back here, which isn't going to be too much of a problem when it's sitting on the table. Just if you're reaching your hands back there, just keep in mind you might get a little, so just pushing down on it. All right, so just to recap, I went ahead and I pushed everything out of these little holes. I cleaned up the legs and the holes a little bit more with a pair of pliers. I pushed in these 4 legs into the corners. And then I took 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, right there. And I screwed the Arduino onto it. I peeled off the back of the breadboard and I stuck it on. So now we have our nice little Arduino and breadboard holder. All right, looks like that's the end of getting the board set up. Go ahead and click on the link to the next video. We're going to start getting into the tutorials.